Lily, a young woman, becomes consumed by her desire to reverse aging and maintain her youthful appearance. As she delves into every anti-aging product and procedure, she discovers that true beauty lies in self-acceptance and inner peace, leading her to embrace her authentic self. Through her journey, Lily learns that aging gracefully is about valuing inner strength and self-worth over external appearances. Lily had always been the heart of Willow Creek. Her flower shop, nestled on the corner of Maple Street, was a haven of color and fragrance, where locals came not just for blooms, but for the warmth of her smile and the kindness in her eyes. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was the gentleness of her spirit that drew people in. Yet, beneath her radiant exterior, Lily carried a quiet insecurity. As the years passed, she couldn't help but notice the fine lines that began to trace the corners of her eyes, the slight sag in her once firm skin. She feared that time was stealing her beauty, and with it, her confidence. No amount of creams or serums seemed to slow the march of age, and she began to feel as though the vibrancy of her youth was slipping through her fingers. Then, one golden afternoon, everything changed. The bell above her shop door chimed, and in walked a man who looked as though he had stepped out of a dream. He was tall, with dark hair that curled slightly at the ends, and eyes the color of the ocean before a storm. His name was James, and from the moment their eyes met, Lily felt a spark, a connection that was as undeniable as it was unexpected. James was new to Willow Creek, having left behind a demanding career as a doctor in the city. He had come to the small town in search of peace, a place where he could heal from the emotional toll of years spent watching people suffer. There was something about Lily that soothed his soul, and he found himself returning to her shop day after day, drawn not just by her beauty, but by the quiet strength that seemed to radiate from her. As the days turned into weeks, Lily and James grew closer. They spent hours talking, sharing stories of their past and dreams for the future. James admired Lily's dedication to her craft, the way she arranged flowers with such care and precision. But more than that, he was struck by her vulnerability, the way she confided in him her fears about aging, about losing the very beauty that had always been her shield against the world. James listened, his heart aching for her. He began to share with her his knowledge of health and wellness, introducing her to the power of proper nutrition and hydration. He spoke of the benefits of a balanced diet rich in antioxidants, how foods like berries and nuts could help fight the signs of aging from within. He showed her how simple daily practices, like drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and protecting her skin from the sun, could do more for her than any expensive cream. He also taught her about the importance of self-love, of embracing the changes that came with time rather than fighting them. He shared stories of his patients, women who had found beauty in their strength, in the lines that told the stories of their lives. Slowly, Lily began to see herself differently. She started to embrace her natural beauty, the way her eyes crinkled when she smiled, the wisdom that shone through her gaze. Their relationship deepened, blossoming into a love that felt as inevitable as the changing seasons. They spent their days exploring the countryside, collecting wildflowers and laughing under the warm sun. James often spoke of his dream to start a family, and Lily's heart swelled with hope for the future. She imagined a life with him, filled with love and laughter, their children running through the fields, their home echoing with joy. But life, with its cruel unpredictability, had other plans. One day, while they were lying in the grass, watching the clouds drift lazily across the sky, Lily mentioned a pain she had been feeling in her chest. It had started as a dull ache, something she had dismissed as nothing more than stress. But James, ever the doctor, felt a shiver of fear run down his spine. He insisted she come to the clinic the next day. There, under the harsh glare of the fluorescent lights, they found what they had both feared, a lump, small but unmistakable. The words breast cancer hung in the air like a dark cloud, and in that moment, their world shifted. Lily's treatment began almost immediately. The once vibrant and confident woman began to fade, her body weakened by chemotherapy, her spirit tested by the relentless pain. But through it all, James remained by her side, his love for her unwavering. He did everything he could to ease her suffering, using every tool in his medical arsenal, but also turning to the holistic remedies they had once spoken about in happier times. He prepared her meals rich in nutrients, foods that would strengthen her body and help it fight back. He massaged her with oils infused with lavender and chamomile, hoping to bring her some small measure of comfort. He reminded her of the beauty tips he had once given her, not to enhance her appearance, but to remind her of the woman she was beneath the sickness, the woman he loved with all his heart. But the cancer was relentless. As the weeks turned into months, it became clear that Lily's time was running out. One night, as they lay together in bed, she turned to him, her voice barely a whisper. "James," she said, her hand trembling as she reached for his. "I'm scared." He held her close, his heart breaking. "I know, my love, but you're not alone. I'm here, and I'll be with you every step of the way." Tears welled in her eyes. "Promise me something," she said. "Promise me you'll live your life, that you'll find happiness again, even after I'm gone." James couldn't speak, the lump in his throat too painful to swallow. All he could do was nod, holding her as tightly as he dared, wishing with all his heart that he could take her pain away. In the days that followed, Lily's condition worsened. The vibrant woman who had once filled Willow Creek with her light was slipping away, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. But even in her darkest moments, she remained graceful, her love for James giving her the strength to endure. On a cold winter's night, as the snow fell softly outside their window, Lily took her last breath in James's arms. Her passing was peaceful, her face serene as she finally found the rest she had so desperately needed. James was left with a heart shattered by grief, his world darkened by the loss of the woman he had loved more than anything. But in the midst of his sorrow, he remembered the promise he had made to her. He knew that to honor her memory, he had to keep living, to find the beauty in life once again. In the months that followed, James threw himself into his work, dedicating his life to helping others, just as Lily would have wanted. He became known as the doctor who could heal not just the body, but the soul. He shared the lessons he had learned from Lily, teaching his patients the importance of self-love, of nurturing both body and spirit. And slowly, as time passed, the pain of his loss began to ease. He would never forget Lily. How could he? She was the love of his life, the woman who had shown him what it meant to truly live. But he knew that she would want him to be happy, to find joy in the world they had once shared. One day, as he walked through the fields where they had spent so many happy moments, he found a single wildflower blooming amidst the snow. He bent down to pick it, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. He could almost hear her voice in the wind, whispering that she was still with him, watching over him, her love as eternal as the seasons. And so, with a heart still heavy with loss but filled with hope, James continued on. He lived his life not just for himself, but for Lily, carrying her memory with him always. A reminder that love, true love, never really dies.